the vendor, all right? After you select, okay, over here, let me just go here. So if we go and buy, all right, if you want to buy, then you have to know which vendor to go to, right? Because if we build, later we'll continue our story, all right, in the SDLC. Build, we'll continue the story later on, right? The next chapter, SDLC, how you continue from the build. But if you buy, then you have to evaluate your vendor, all right? So over here, I have with me is a few factors, 4 factors over here, right? For us to evaluate our vendors. All right, evaluate our vendors. It is again repetitive. All right, it is again repetitive. It is again the same old thing. All right, when you want to, you know what's vendors or not? Vendors is someone you're going to buy from. All right, it's the same like this. All right, you want to go and buy, let's say, burger, right? You want to buy burger. That's right. You want to buy burger, and then you want to decide where to buy from, all right? Do you want to buy from KFC, McDonald's, or you want to buy it from maybe Aman, Burger King, all right? So in that sense, you have different vendor, right, for the burger. But the system also, you have different vendor, all right? It might be from SAP, it might be from Oracle, it might be local SQL, AutoCount. You got Sage UBS, you got QuickBooks, you got what's that more? TBS, you got MYOB, you got, let me see, various. There's like local developed using the Odoo. All right, there's local developed Odoo also, right? Odoo, right? Odoo. Open source using the ERP system. Most people use this as well. In short, there are various vendors, all right? And what will lead the person to decide? It goes back to these 4 factors over here. First of all, first and foremost is the cost, right? If the vendor A is cheaper than vendor B, you will go to the vendor A first. But over here, be aware of the vendor, all right? You want to pick the most economical, right? You call this the most economical, all right? You say that, okay, the vendor to be economical vendor, all right? We haven't gone into the analysis yet. Over here is just the main 4 factors that we'll look at the vendors. Second over here is the scalability, all right? Whether the software can be scaled or not. If you have your business grow bigger, can your business add more user into the system? Let's say previously you only hire one accountant, right? Now you have maybe 5 accountants. Can you add another 4 more users to the system? That is one thing. And then another thing you can think of is whether the system can handle more transactions. Certain system, maybe the maximum transactions is 10,000. You know transactions, right? The one that we record in the row, right? You got the database, right? You know everything, all the system mostly just go back to this database, all right? And relational database, right? Our DMS. So in a sense that if you use this relational database management system, right? If I remember correctly, then you will go back to this table over here, and each of this row In certain software, there might be limited transactions, maybe 1 million transactions. And if it's a bigger business, you will go beyond 1 million, maybe 2 million transactions. Then you need to consider this scalability of the system as well, all right, the provider of the software provider. Then over here, the third one you can see is what we can think of when we're going to think about the vendor, the support, right? Whether they give any support or not, all right? Does they give immediate support, or the support you need to charge you for the support? All right, mostly the vendor will charge you. It goes back to here also, right? When it talks about scalability, it goes back to here and here. The support, if your business grow bigger, let's say, for example, in SAP, all right, you have 100 user of the system, all right? 100 user of the system means you have 100 accountants, all right? 100 accountants, and then when they want to provide support, 100 user, then each of them, they have to charge each and every one of the user for the training, for the support, and then for the customization in the future, all right? Then it goes back to the cost again over here, all right? It's all embedded inside. But you look at it in a moment below here when we talk about the analysis that we can look up. And final bit is this one. Final bit is this one. Whether the vendor, software, or the system is can it integrate or not, right, in the future, right? Whether this system provide any means of integrating with another software. Nowadays, you can see most people will have this API, all right? What is API? What is API? I also don't know. the full name, right? The full name. I also don't know what is API. Right? It doesn't come back to my brain. But anyway, API is like what they call bridge. Right? It's a bridge. You develop a system, even the website. All right. Later we can look into Google App Script. There is the API also, right? You can link the app script to another software, or you can use it as a bridge. That's how the thing that we are looking at now. Whether it is over here, the integration. Do you have the integration or not? So these are to evaluate the vendor, we look at these 4 factors, all right, over here. And let me go down over to here. We have the CBS, all right, the CBS analysis to determine the vendor, all right. Oh, we are actually close to the end already, all right. We have the CBS analysis to determine which vendor is good. And this is very straightforward. The cost, benefit, and scalability, right? We need to look at these 3 things, whether the cost versus the benefit, and then we also need to look at the scalability, this analysis over here. There are detail point inside the study kit. Do look at them. But what I want to highlight to you is the purpose. All right, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this analysis? Why are we doing this analysis? The reason is because if you look at the cost, benefit, and scalability, right? Why do we want to do this analysis? Is because you want to have first estimated total cost, okay? Without doing this analysis, we just look at the template, right? We just look at the surface. We just know that, let's say this vendor is selling 1,000 ringgit on the software, but we don't know the total cost. So that's why we are doing the cost versus benefit and scalability analysis. Okay? It's okay. It makes sense, right? It makes sense that it's so boring. It's just so boring. It's so plain, right? It's just down the book, straight down the book. And total cost is not on the software itself, all right? You might be the acquisition cost, all right, to acquire, then the implementation cost, the training cost, this kind of total cost that involve if you were to buy from this vendor and implement it in your company. Does that make sense? Then you're going to compare to the benefits. So if you buy this software and implement inside your company, will it reduce costs? All right? Will it reduce costs in terms of, let's say, certain process will be cut off, then you will have less people standing there doing the work, or you're going to have something to cut in the cost, all right? Or the cost will go down. Or in terms of the customer, well, after you buy this system, the previous system have a lot of hang, all right? When they want to purchase, when they want to pay, scan, cannot scan. Shopee, QR code, if you go to the cashier, scan cannot go through, everything cannot go through, then the customer will not be happy, right? But with this system, when you buy, the customer will be happy. The customer will come and then just straight away flash the QR code, purchase, go out. This kind of thing that we're going to consider as well, right? The benefits. And lastly, whether the purpose is whether we want to know that the system that we buy and then implement to our company, will it scale or not? Scale in one thing that if our business is becoming bigger, will the system support when your company grow? Grow in terms of, let's say, you have more accountants, you have more users. Grow in terms of you have a lot of transactions, and so on, all right? What some more we can think about this scalability? Scalability, also you can consider on this part over here, right? Scalability on this. Whether in the future, when the company become bigger, the system can be integrated or not with other system, all right? But it also actually just go back to this complexity again, right? Remember this complexity? If you integrate with another software with software, then you'll find a lot of complexity, and that would be quite bad. Okay.